This is Evolve Alloy. It's the newest thing from Excite Audio. It's their first dip into the world of synthesis, but it really seems more like a response to the shortcomings of the Bloom engine that they've been working on. The Bloom series has a bunch of pre-recorded things that you play. There are sometimes patches that work so that you can play them kind of like notes, but they're limited to the key set and all these things. This fixes all of those things. The sounds are also fantastic. Yeah, like that. And you can go between the 4 sound engines. So this is like C, A, B, D. And so morphing between these is, kind of the bread and butter of this. There's a lot of contact style instruments also that do this exact same thing. There is a synthesizer in here as well. So you've got like your basic waveforms you can pick from. The blending, while interesting, again, these samples, I think, is where this shines. You can import your own samples. Let me show you a few of the things that were sort of strange to me. Let me show you one that I think is actually kind of funny. In the mod menu, if you come in and you can like remap where things go, right? If you go to choose a source, the menu is like so teeny. I hope this gets fixed because it is like, it's like I can read it, but man, that's tiny. This edit tab brings it up and down, but you can see it's kind of choppy for me. It's like clunky. I've seen with other people, it looks smoother, but for me, it's not smooth. And these are like such small things, but they're things I noticed. Now, something functionally that I kind of thought would be different is let's get to the Initalize patch. Okay, so this is the initialized preset, but I think it needs to be changed because if you play something, nothing happens. I would sort of expect there to be a default sample or it to be just set to be synthesizer on sound A. This to me would just make more sense. It's a teeny thing, but it would. And here's the thing I thought was kind of interesting. Okay, so we have these ADSRs down here and you can drag and drop. So this is their first time doing a modulation engine, like a full-on one. And we're going to take this and drag it to the volume. We'll set the volume to 0. And then when I play it, it should jump up and then come down. Let's also take the sustain down, kind of like that. So as expected. Now let's say that I want to take LFO 1 and add it to the knob. So if I drag it over, you see I can't hover over the modulation. So I don't think you can modulate modulation. But if you put it on, it replaces it. It's no longer there. And if you look in the mod menu, it's gone. Not there anymore. Now we can come to add. We're going to choose a source with our teeny menu of ADSR A and a destination of sound A volume. And now in here, you can do it. So with this configuration, we expect the ADSR, right? It's just going to turn it down. So we're not going to hear much. So if we give this just a bit back, so it doesn't turn it down all the way. But look, the LFO does not appear to be doing its thing. We hear the pop, but nothing else here. So multiple modulation sources on a single control right now is weird. It behaves weird. It's not like expected. So it's kind of like a one modulation source per knob deal. At least that's how it works at the moment. Another thing that threw me off at first was there's this big area for the sound sources, but you also have this XY pad that allows you to modulate the X and the Y axis. But in order to see this specifically, you have to go to the effects tab right here. And it just threw me off a little bit. So maybe this would be my suggestion. If you hover over this and you modulate something, it like highlights this button so that oh, this is what I'm messing with. That would be very informative from a UI standpoint. So if I take this, and I'm going to use the XY pad to move the volume around instead in the X axis, you got to do it here. This controls the sound source blend. And I don't know if there's a way to possibly have them linked so that they can be controlled together. That would also be pretty cool. You're able to modulate this with these little XY down here. I was also like, what is this? Why is this here? But this is just to make it so that the X and the Y are targetable for moving that. There's another thing that if you're experienced, you already kind of know what you're doing. This is something that was like kind of nice to know. So let's talk strong points. Strong points, definitely the 4-source engine moving around. It's worked great in so many instruments. It really comes down to how good are your recordings. And because they always stick to such a strong theme, it almost always works out really good. Every Bloom instrument I've ever reviewed has been fantastic because they just have a really strong theme. This is no different. This is metals, and you get metal type sounds. If you want like bells, textures, plucks, this is going to be something that'll be really easy to grab. You'll have a high expectation of what's in there, and you'll get what you're looking for. Yeah, these kinds of things. You can change out the samples pretty easily with the little browsers they have built in. They work well for the amount of space that they have. There are glide settings. They're a bit hidden away in these little 3-dot menu. These are like your global settings, but the glide exists here. I kind of wish this lived somewhere else. A few of these settings, like the pitch bend range, stuff like that, could be nice to have. If you go to the keys, there's this like keys area. I think it could be fit somewhere on here, maybe like next to it. That's where a lot of synthesizers put it, because looking for this up here, I don't know. Once you know it's there, it's whatever. Another kind of nice to know thing is the macros can be put pre or post. These guys right here. That's post, pre. That's super, super handy, like really handy. Now you're going to hear like some of these notes ring out a long time. At the moment, there is no panic button. So if you push it and you want it to stop, I'm hitting stop. I don't know how to get it to stop. So if you have a long sound, it's just going to play out, which can be like really frustrating sometimes if you're working with sounds. So I wish there was like an inbuilt panic button, or if it received the all notes off signal, that it would also cut the verb and all those kinds of things as well. The effects are built out. There's a bunch. Another teeny menu though. It's so tiny. They're good. They sound good. So if we come in here, we could go for like a transient shaper, give it like a high tackle release, and we could emphasize stuff. You know, they're nice effects. I assume they're probably, some of them are being ported over from some of the Bloom stuff. So they probably already had quite a few. So this is probably like Gen 2, like refined. I'm not sure, but it is nice, the suite that you have here to pick from. And there's quite a few. You get 3 slots. You get 2 filters to play with, and you can pick which sound sources are processed by which filter. They're cool. It's just a filter. I mean, there's nothing like exciting in here like Val style filters or anything like that. It's just a standard filter because, again, they're kind of building it around the sample sets. And I assume this is because they're probably going to do other themed instruments. The randomization is kind of interesting. If you click close to the dice, it only randomizes like a little bit. Like that's pretty similar. That's not super similar, but it's not crazy. Now, if we go high, it really gets wild. There are settings for the randomization engine. If you come into the little slider, you can turn off the ability for it to change the sounds, but they'll still affect the parameters. So if you don't want the parameters touched, but you want to change the sounds, you can turn those off. The randomization, if you start from like a tonal patch, like let's go to a preset to begin and say, hey, that's pretty interesting. Let's try just messing with the effects. And we give it some like different effects. This could be pretty nice for getting just variations on sounds, maybe a layer. If you go after sound parameters, you can really screw up the tuning, which can be interesting. Like the pitch is way off. So you're going to have to go in and start doing things with the pitch. So it would have been nice if there was the ability to like lock things so that, you know, the frequency isn't jumping all over the place. If you have synthesizers like Pigments or Phase Plant, then this will not be impressive to you. It's nowhere near the power of those synthesizers, but the price point's quite a bit different right now. It's on sale for $40 and it's usually $60. And again, they're aiming it more towards preset users using samples and just giving different access to the way you interact with those samples. without using something like contact. So for what it is, I think they nailed pretty much what they were going after. There are still some hiccups. I hope to see things improved, but I think it's pretty cool. Let me know what you think down below. Subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos, and have a blessed day.